All right, let's say your friend comes to you and says, hey, buddy, my grandma just gave me a new PC for Christmas and also gave me $100 Steam Wallet credit. What games should I buy? So this is a list of games that I would recommend. And what I've done is I've picked a few categories, a few genres, and I've picked 3 options in each of them. And I'll only pick one from each category. And the objective of this game is to make sure the total stays under $100. So I'll show you the games, then I'll tell you what I picked and how much I ended up spending. And you can play along and let me know if you picked anything differently and what your total was. So the first section I would go is for the Metroidvania, the 2D style Metroidvania. First game in this list would be Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, I won't go into details with these games because I've covered these games many, many times in the past, and you all know most of these games, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. So first choice, Ori and the Blind Forest. Second choice, Hollow Knight. And third choice, Dead Cells. Really excellent games. All are fairly recent, very good reviews, all of them, and not too expensive. Maybe this one is a little expensive, but not too expensive. The second section I would go for is the RPG section. And we have The Witcher 3, obviously, easy pick because of the popularity of the Netflix show, you could say. Next up is Divinity Original Sin 2, a very well-made deep RPG with party elements as well. And then we have Fallout 4, your more classic RPG with the post-apocalyptic setting. So 2 sections down, third section would be the puzzle games, and I've gone with Portal, both the games because they're kind of cheap, and we have the Telos Principle, and a newer game, and The Witness. So 3 puzzle games, more or less, I won't say similar, but very popular and interesting games as well. So that's the puzzle section done. Next, I'm going with single-player linear story-driven games. First choice is A Plague Tale: Innocence, and the second choice is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Now, unfortunately, I only have really 2 options in this one because I couldn't really find a third game that did not sort of overlap into another category, and you'll see why. So next section, we are going for the FPS genre, the shooters. We have Doom, the 2016 version. We have Half-Life 2. And we have Titanfall 2. Very good games, all 3 of them. So this will be interesting what you pick. Then we want some simpler, more fun games like Stardew Valley, for example. So this is the farming sim section, you could say. So first we have Stardew Valley, Graveyard Keeper, and My Time at Porsche. Now, Graveyard Keeper isn't technically a farming game, but it's the same concept, but you are just tending to your graveyard. So 3 options here. Then this category was a little different. So what I've done is I've mixed 3 interesting games that I would recommend. These are not particularly in the same genre. So first is Subnautica, more open world survival crafting underwater game on an alien planet. Next is Outer Wilds. So this is the space exploration game with a very interesting, mysterious storyline, you could say. And then the third one is Return of Obra Dinn. This is a detective mystery game that you play in reverse. So yeah, very different category here. And then one more category is the co-op category with friends. So we have Warhammer Vermintide 2, one of my favorite games. We have Deep Rock Galactic, everybody else's favorite game. And we have GTA 4, a more horror and more FPS sort of co-op game, more brutal, let's say, compared to the other 2. So these are the options for the $100 section. Now, of course, there are many other categories, but I went with some more mainstream popular options. So those are the options that I have for this one. Obviously, there are more categories, more genres of games, but I went with a handful just to make life easier. So now I'll give you my picks and I'll give you my total, and then you can do the same and let me know how much you ended up spending and saving. So in the first section, the Metroidvania section, I've gone with Ori and the Blind Forest at $499. The RPG section, I've gone with Witcher 3, $10 for the Game of the Year edition. The puzzle section, I've gone with the Portal bundle at $299. In the single player section, I've gone with A Plague Tale: Innocence. In the FPS section, I've gone with Doom. Now, of course, with the FPS section, it'll depend. If they don't like gold, they can go with the other two. In the farming section, as much as I like Graveyard Keeper, I would recommend Stardew Valley to a newcomer at 1049. In the sort of interesting games section, I've gone with Subnautica. Now, if they're scared of water, because a lot of people are scared of deep water, you can recommend the other two, Outer Wilds, for example. If they're more into the mystery section, you can go for the Opera Dinn game. And finally, in the co-op section, I would recommend Vermintide 2 because I like it a lot, but the other two are just as good, depending on your friend's preference. So my total comes to $66.92. So we have quite a bit left over. So if money is left over, we can add some bonus games. And I would recommend they get Outer Wilds as the bonus game. I would recommend they get Half-Life 2. And they can also get Titanfall 2. And they'll still be comfortably under 100. And of course, they can choose some of the others. Because of course, if you offer these games to a friend, they'll probably look at the games and the screenshots and the trailers, and they would probably pick something that looks good to them. But I think we can recommend these games and still have money left over for other games. So anyway, those are my picks. Let me know what you ended up picking and how much you ended up spending.